I want you to turn to page 4 of your workbook and look at those 9 principles for the J42 and the different categories. It starts out with toxicity reduction. Well, I want you to look down where it says speed up digestion. This is what I mean by that. All foods do not break down at the same rate of speed. Say, for example, if you wake up and you eat meal 1 at 8 a.m. and it takes about 7 seconds for a bite of food to go down your esophagus. Well, depending on what it is, if meal 1 is a heavy meal, pancakes, biscuits, syrup, jelly, bacon, sausage, this kind of thing with ham, well, once it's in your stomach, it could, depending on what it is and how much of it you've eaten, it could take from 30 minutes upwards of 4 hours before it is broken down and moved out of your stomach into your small intestine to be further digested. So if it takes 4 hours, the maximum time, to be moved to the small intestine, now if you look at the clock, you ate that meal at 8 a.m. and now it's 12 noon. Now it's time to eat again, right? So you eat a heavy lunch. Let's say it's pizza, or let's say it's the burger and fries, the typical, the usual suspects. Well, now that's in your stomach trying to break down, and that meal 1 is in your small intestine, in which, because it was the pancakes and the ham and the cheese and the bacon and all of this, hash browns or whatever it was, this humongous first meal, it can stay in your small intestine for upwards of 6 hours, which makes it now 6 p.m. The second meal, the cheese pizza and whatever else went on at lunchtime, moves to the small intestine, and now it's time to eat this heavy dinner, the steak and potatoes with the butter and the cheese and the croutons and the bacon bits on the potato, and then you eat some pie to go with that for dessert and chase it down with some alcohol to slow down the process even further. And now you have this heavy steak dinner and dessert in your stomach. The first meal has moved to your large intestine, and the second meal, the pizza and cheese and whatever that was, moves to the small intestine, and you have all this food in your body, and none of it can get processed until the first meal is eliminated. But if you're not regular, then that first meal can sit in your large intestine for the final stages of digestion upwards of 12 to 18 hours. Well, if on the low end it's in your large intestine for 12 hours and you ate at 6 p.m. when you ate that heavy dinner, 12 hours later it's 6 in the morning and it's time to eat again. You have not eliminated any of the waste material. You're constantly putting food in your body in between those meals, because we didn't mention the vending machines and the snacks and the candy bars and the soft drinks and all of the cashews and everything else that you're eating in between those meals. Guys, we have to eat foods that are quickly digested and eliminated in order for this weight loss process to get initiated. That's why we reduce the meat protein down to 6 to 8 ounces, and that's why we add the vegetables even in meal 1, because we don't say breakfast. Remember, the word breakfast makes you think about breakfast type foods, which are the traditional waffles and donuts and just things that really is a digestive nightmare. So these are food travel times. We want to take away the foods that slow down the process. We want to eat the foods that speed up the process, because we don't need this stuff sitting in your system for 2, 3, or 4 days.